I used to love wine. The pairings, the ambiance, the ritual. A bold Italian barbaresco from the Piemonte region with dinner was one of my absolute favorite pleasures. So much so that we would travel to Italy almost every year and bring back cases of barbaresco so that we could have that with dinner at the comfort of our own home. It wasn't just about the drink, it was about the experience. But somewhere in my mid 30s, about a decade ago, my body started sending a different message. A message that I initially did not want to listen to. Even just one glass or two glasses with dinner, and I would wake up feeling like hot garbage. I would feel foggy, puffy, moody, just off. And I started to wonder, what is going on? But secretly, I knew it was the alcohol. The truth? We've been sold a very expensive lie that alcohol helps us relax. And for years, I would have told you that it did just that. That glass of red wine was self-care. That drinking was harmless, even healthy in moderation. It's great for your heart. But if your body's saying otherwise, especially now that you're in your 40s, and maybe even back when you were in your 30s, you are not crazy. You're probably in perimenopause, and alcohol hits different now. If anything, it hits harder. Now, a little bit of a backstory, because I've had a love affair with alcohol and wine for quite some time. For 18 years, I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, where great cocktails and world-class wine was everywhere. And when I was in my 20s and even early 30s, alcohol was woven into the fabric of my life. I knew the best restaurants, I knew the perfect pairings. I was a mixologist. It's what put me through school, it's what paid my mortgage. I was a phenomenal bartender for I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I could tell you which champagne would be paired well with brunch. I could tell you the best tequilas. I could pair wine up with steak versus salmon. I mean, name it. This was my freaking job, and I made a lot of money doing it. But by my mid 30s, even a couple glasses of wine at dinner started leaving me feeling wrecked the next day. My sleep was shot, and we now know that your sleep is most definitely shot when you drink at night. My brain felt scrambled. My face, everything just felt puffy. And the weight started to creep on fast. My metabolism was not rebounding the way that it used to. Alcohol was one of the first things that I let go of when I began to heal my metabolism and hormones. It actually started with my very first 28-day detox, where I cut out alcohol, and let me tell you, I missed it. I'm not sure if you've ever done a 28-day detox, and maybe if you've done that, where you've cut out all sugar, all alcohol, all ultra-processed foods, and maybe you're dreaming of that chocolate chip cookie or that piece of cake or that frappuccino. For me, I was dreaming of skinny margaritas because I made the best white peach skinny margarita. Oh my gosh, I won margarita competitions. That's how good I was at making margaritas because I knew the best freaking tequilas for margaritas. And I remember I gave up alcohol for this 28 days. I'm going to say it was in my early 30s, and all I could dream about was margaritas. I was like, something is wrong with you. And I'll never forget being on the other side of those 28 days after having vivid margarita dreams. I felt clearer, lighter, calmer. I felt more emotionally resilient. But more importantly, I had no food noise. I had no alcohol noise. I wasn't worried about what I was pairing with dinner. There were no more groggy mornings, no more feeling off and not knowing why. And this was a big aha moment for me. What I thought was just aging or just stress was alcohol making everything worse behind the scenes, especially because, I drank very casually with friends, a couple times a week. It was a part of the fabric of who I was. Now, if we were to fast forward to today at 46 years old, I've gone entire years without drinking alcohol. Since becoming a mom at 41, it's become even more rare. If anything, I will have a couple sips throughout the year. And for example, even this last year, 45, 46 years old, anything more than a couple of sips it would wreck me the next day. I've been wearing a Whoop strap for, I don't know, 3 years now. And one of the things I'm always tracking is my sleep score, my heart rate variability, my resting rate, really my overall resilience score. It kind of determines what I can do the next day, what I have bandwidth and capacity. Because even now, knowing myself, listening to my body, I can still gaslight myself a little bit. I can still push a little bit harder than I have bandwidth for if I'm not tracking this data. And so what I've noticed that even more than a couple sips of a sexy wine or a sexy champagne for a very special occasion, man, I will be tanked. My heart rate variability will tank. My resting heart rate will tank. My sleep score in the garbage. My body score the next day is in the yellow or red, and you want it in the green. And so I have a lot of data and a lot of proof for myself and even with my patients that alcohol is doing us no favors, especially as we get older. And I think especially now that I don't drink very much anymore, my body's just like, it is a full body no. And so it's important, I think, that each and every one of us really listen to our bodies and maybe even give ourselves a break, right? Right now, we're in the middle of dry January because the holidays can be boozy, but they can also be stressful. They can also be sugar induced. They can also just be a lot. And giving ourselves a 31-day break from alcohol, man, it can make the biggest difference. And also can tell you a lot about your resilience and capacity when you are looking at this and looking at your data, right? If you're wearing an Oura ring or an Apple Watch or a Whoop strap. And so that has been my experience and the experience of so many patients that I've worked with over the last decade or so. Because very often, even a half glass of wine, like I was with a friend, we went out to a really lovely Christmas dinner together. It was like early December, and she had a glass of wine. I had a couple sips because I was like, I just know it's going to tank me. You just get to a place where you just know. She had the glass of wine and felt horrible the next day. She had to skip her workout class. It took her a whole day to recalibrate. And she's in her, I want to say her late 30s. So again, most of us will start to notice well before we hit perimenopause. And this is what I hear all the time from my community. I used to handle alcohol fine. Now I feel awful. One glass and my sleep is wrecked. It feels like it's messing with my hormones and my period and everything. And a lot of women have even pointed out that they've noticed that the more they drink, the more weight they gain because they just don't have that same metabolic resilience. And they're right. It's not just a hangover anymore. It's not just getting older. Alcohol is impacting your hormones, your brain, your sleep, and your metabolism. I mean, it's not just one thing, it's the whole enchilada, especially in perimenopause or even a little bit before perimenopause, when your body is already more sensitive to stress, inflammation, blood sugar swings. Alcohol becomes the ultimate disruptor. And there's a new plot twist worth sharing as of last year. So on January 3rd, 2025, a little over a year ago, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a major advisory on the link between alcohol and 8 major types of cancers. And man, did this big Surgeon General warning go wild. Like all of a sudden, we really started to turn the corner on, is alcohol healthy for us? And the verdict is out. It is not. And a couple of the 8 major types of cancer included breast cancer and colon cancers, which have been on the rise in younger women. Now, there's widespread fear still today that hormone replacement therapy causes cancer, yet alcohol is the only regularly consumed substance proven to increase breast cancer risk, even just a few drinks a week. For decades, public health officials have said 1 to 2 drinks a day are good for you, but the narrative on the health risks of moderate drinking has shifted based on new data. Despite that, Americans are drinking more than ever. Well, this was in 2025 where I'm pulling this research, but even into 2026, when we have a lot more dialogue around alcohol use and misuse, we still see people drinking a lot. Half of the U.S. adults drink alcohol, and the CDC released a report documenting that 20% of U.S. adults binge drink. And I believe I'm going to break it down right now, but it's like more than 4 drinks in a night. You don't have to be dependent on alcohol to binge drink. It's defined as a blood alcohol concentration to zero point 0 8 or above. So that's 4 drinks in men, 3 plus drinks in women over the course of a 2-hour period. Every year, 88,000 deaths are related to alcohol problems, half from binge drinking. Even more concerning, 10% have alcohol use disorder. Now, alcohol use disorder reduces fat burning for 24 hours, it shrinks the brain, and it pokes hole in the gut lining. But that's not all. Research shows that binge eating is associated with alcohol use disorder, right? I mean, I think you've ever been home from maybe not recently, but back in the day, you would go dancing with friends, you would drink a ton of Cosmos or a ton of shots of tequila. Just kind of remembering what it looked like for me back in the day in the Bay Area. And you would just go to the nearest taco stand or pizza joint or fast food place. We had a male's diner in San Francisco, which was, oh my God, the worst diner food ever. And, you're super hungry after you drink, so you end up binge eating too. It's happened to me on too many occasions. And as we get older, the way we are able to break down alcohol in the liver slows down. I mean, that's what's really going on. It's part of what's going on. What you used to be able to tolerate in your 20s and even in your early 30s, you may no longer be able to tolerate without health consequences in your 40s or older. In the many women that I've talked to and even taken care of, they often feel a shift in their late 30s or early 40s. They simply cannot tolerate alcohol the way that they used to. And if you've noticed and you've become more apparent to give your body this, much needed alcohol break, my recommendation is to look into, a 14 to 30 day break. This is why dry January, dry February, and sober October are increasing in popularity. Although I realize this is a unpopular topic, I want to really dive deeper into what happens in a woman's body or in someone who identifies as a woman, because it's important to note that when it comes to everything biological, we are not small men. Alcohol affects us differently, and let me tell you, not in a good way. What's more, alcohol-related diseases and deaths have been climbing among women in recent years, with perimenopausal and menopausal women at heightened risk due to brain and liver changes that reduce our ability to metabolize alcohol effectively. Like, it's not just symptoms, right? It's so much more than that. Those symptoms are translating to real issues inside of the body. Beyond the cancer risk, alcohol affects us in so many other ways. It impacts our hormones, our brain, our gut, our mood, our sleep, our immunity, our blood sugar, and so much more. And here's why. Women metabolize alcohol less effectively than men. We have slower rates of detoxification and lower volumes of total body water. For the same intake, women have higher blood alcohol concentrations compared to men. As a result, women get buzzed and drunk faster than men, even when adjusted for body weight, because we have more fat and less water. And there are other variations based on our menstrual cycle and our hormones. When drinking alcohol, our endocrine glands get impaired, like ovaries and the adrenal glands, even our pancreas, like all of it gets impaired. Drinking alcohol can impair the functions of the glands that release hormones and the functions of tissues targeted by those hormones, which can result in medical problems. When alcohol impairs the hormone system's ability to work properly, that endocrine system of ours, it can disrupt these major bodily symptoms and functions. So, growth and development, maintenance of blood pressure and bone mass, production, utilization, and storage of energy, and reproduction. So let's just break it down really quickly in terms of our hormones and our reproductive health. So let's take fertility. And I get that many of us are out of that window, but some of us aren't. And we definitely have daughters and women in our life where we're leaving a legacy for. So when it comes to fertility, while light drinking 1 to 3 drinks per week may not affect fertility, heavier intake can disrupt ovulation and conception by raising estrogen levels. Also, by creating oxidative stress for our mitochondria, right? There's multiple things going on here. Next, with polycystic ovarian syndrome and endometriosis, alcohol can worsen oxidative stress, inflammation, blood sugar imbalances, and hormone disruptions. These are key contributors to these conditions and the entire body as well. Like blood sugar imbalance is doing no system of the body any favors. Next, perimenopause and menopause. If you haven't noticed, if you're struggling with vasomotor symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats, alcohol can really turn up the heat. It will intensify hot flashes, disrupt sleep, and impact mood. Postmenopausal women metabolize alcohol more slowly, increasing health risk. Next, we have breast cancer risk. Even as little as 1 to 3 drinks per week raises risk by increasing estrogen, suppressing immunity, and altering cells. And we're talking about like the estrogen that doesn't break down easy, right? It's going down the wrong pathway. It's not estrogen specifically, it's the way that estrogen's being metabolized. Another big concern is the impact that alcohol has on our blood sugar regulation. As you know, the main energy source for all body tissues is glucose, especially the brain. The body gets glucose from food, from the synthesis of our mitochondria, and from the breakdown of glycogen, which is stored in the liver. The body's blood sugar levels are controlled by insulin and glucagon, hormones secreted by the pancreas. They work together to maintain a constant concentration of glucose in the blood. Insulin lowers glucose levels, while glucagon raises it. Other hormones from adrenal glands and the pituitary gland back up the function of glucagon to make sure that the body's glucose levels don't fall low enough to cause fainting, passing out, or even brain damage. Here's the thing, alcohol interferes with all three sources of glucose and interferes with the hormones that regulate glucose levels. There are many ways alcohol consumption affects the body's glucose regulation and variability. Alcohol is known to augment insulin secretion, causing temporary hypoglycemia, inhibit glucose production while alcohol is being metabolized, because again, the liver's got to prioritize the poison over breaking down blood glucose and glycogen, impair the hormonal response to hypoglycemia with heavy alcohol consumption, and limit intake of glucose by not eating properly when drinking. Chronic heavy drinking can increase the body's glucose levels. A review published in 2015 reports that heavy chronic drinking causes glucose intolerance in healthy people. And it could also alter the effectiveness of medications for diabetes and so much more when it comes to regulating blood sugar. So, to summarize, alcohol consumption over time can lead to metabolic dysfunction and inflammation. And the side effect of this is going to be belly fat, stubborn weight, fatty liver disease, and prediabetes. And probably the most concerning is the rise of alcohol misuse in women. Historically, alcohol misuse has been more common in men than women. However, recent data from the past 10 years shows that women are catching up. And furthermore, the alcohol industry specifically targets women in their marketing campaigns and wants to normalize alcohol consumption for us so that you feel that it is a core part of feeling good, relaxation, and being connected to other women. This whole concept of the wind down is not doing us any favors. If you've been feeling run down, numb, stressed, or you just know something is off, I encourage you to consider giving alcohol a break for at least 14 days, ideally longer. Don't fall for the lie that big alcohol is telling you, that it's okay to have a little throughout the week to relax and create connection. In my Metabolism and Hormone Reset Challenge and Jumpstart, and even in the program, alcohol is on the no list. Honestly, almost every program I've ever created, alcohol has been on the no list. No surprise, along with processed sugar, processed foods, and refined grains. In order to feed and heal your gut and your liver, we need a much needed break, and alcohol simply cannot be included. So if you are strongly considering a break from alcohol, or even just, reconsidering the relationship, renegotiating the relationship by, going from 3 to 4 days a week with alcohol to only 1 to 2 days, or maybe just one. Instead of 2 glasses of wine, it's just 1 glass of wine. Like, see how your body responds. So here's a few recommendations for alcohol cravings outside of just giving it up cold turkey for 2+ weeks. Consider making or trying mocktails. Later on this week, I have Blair Horton coming on, and we're going to be talking about how to really make blood sugar friendly, functional mocktails. She has a brand new book called, oh my gosh, I'm having a little moment. It's a beautiful book. I think it's called something elixirs, but it's 70 plus different mocktail and elixirs that you can make that are super easy. And I can't wait for you to listen to that episode, because we really go into how alcohol is not doing us any favors and how we can make functional drinks that are really good for us. Now, if you want to start making blood sugar friendly mocktails right now, I have the perfect gift for you. I put the final touches on the most amazing blood sugar friendly mocktail guide for you with hot and cold recipes, perfect for the winter season, healthy hot chocolate, vanilla matcha lattes, Moscow Mule mocktail, pomegranate cranberry fizz, grapefruit sage mocktail. And you can go and grab this sexy mocktail recipe at drmariza.com/mocktail. Always having a sparkly water on hand with lime or lemon or a little bit of caracar orange or even blood orange just makes it more festive and it really wards away from drinking alcohol. Other things that can be really, really helpful as well, some other really fun adaptogenic drinks out there is Recess. Kin Euphorics is another absolute favorite of mine. I love their Bloom and Light Wave adaptogenic drinks. There's a lot of different kombuchas out there and probiotic drinks. Just look out for the sugar content so you're not messing with your blood sugar. And then another thing that can be really helpful is keeping peppermint oil on hand if a craving hits. This is like a sugar craving, alcohol craving, salty craving. Peppermint will stave off that sugar and alcohol craving like that. We're talking about super fast. And then the other thing is don't keep alcohol in the house. Have an accountability buddy to support you and let people know what you're doing. That way you can get really beautiful support and people cheering you on. Maybe bring on a buddy to do, not dry February. I know dry January is about to be over, but pick a month where you guys both don't drink together, right? And make sure that you have mocktail ingredients on hand, like sparkling water, limes, lemons, blood oranges, maybe a little sprig of lavender or rosemary to really make it sexy. That way you feel like you are treating yourself. It feels like a ritual. It feels like you are taking care of you. So those are the recommendations I am bringing to the table. But again, if you're like me and you've noticed that alcohol is doing you no favors, do yourself a favor and give it a break. Again, renegotiate that relationship. Your body will thank you. And I know that your gut and liver will be grateful too. Thank you so much for listening to the Energized podcast today. This show, as you know, is bringing tools to help you rock your hormones and feel amazing in your body. If there's someone that needs to hear this, because I have a feeling you know somebody, please send it to them. And also take a moment, subscribe to the show, rate the show, because more women are looking for these solutions. More women are looking to be supported, to be honored in this journey of perimenopause and midlife. And this is one of the best podcasts out there to help them feel educated and to feel like the CEO of their health. Until the next episode, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you are ready to learn more about perimenopause and how to navigate with a lot of ease and grace, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can join our community. Don't forget to share this video with someone that you love, that you know is navigating the perimenopause journey as well, because they deserve to feel their best too. See you in the next video.